Do you want to know exactly who your audience is on Pinterest and not only know who they are, but what they are searching for on Pinterest, what kind of interests they have? Well, in today's tutorial, we're going to be going over just that. I'm going to be going over the Pinterest Audience Insights tool. This tool is perfect for anybody who's just wanting to get started with Pinterest and understand how much demand there is for a specific niche, and also for people who have established audiences and wanted to compare what their audience is currently looking for compared to the general audience inside of Pinterest. And if that all sounds confusing to you, don't worry. I'm going to be going over the tool step by step and showing you how I personally use it to find new content ideas and figure out what my audience is searching for. Now, before we jump into that, I do have to mention this video is in partnership with Pinterest. I'm super excited about this partnership. I am part of the Pinterest Educator program, and you can see, I'll link to this down below, this landing page right here. This is a great program because essentially what they did is they brought creators together, there's 6 of us, to specifically create content for anybody who is interested in Pinterest. And the best part is this is completely free. You can come to this landing page and you can actually check out all of the different content that has been created. You can filter it by creator and look at all of these different things. There's some awesome creators in here that I love to watch their tutorials and learn from them as well. So if you are interested in Pinterest and want a great free resource to learn more, I encourage you to check out the link down below. You'll go to this landing page and you can learn more about Pinterest basically. All right, and here we are inside of the Pinterest Audience Insights tool. This is a completely free tool. You do need to have a Pinterest business account in order to access this. So in order to get here, all you do is you come into your desktop view, click on the 3 little dots up here, and then right here, you'll see Audience Insights. If you click that, it will take you to this beautiful view right here where you have the Audience Insights dashboard essentially. With this, what I love about this, taking a closer look at this, is you can either filter Audience Insights by your specific audience or by all Pinterest users. And then you can even compare the two to see how much overlap there is, or if you have more users in your audience that search for specific topics or queries. So you can see right here, I'm in one of my profiles and you can see it has currently the total audience drop down right here. I am in my profile looking at my audience. It has the date range here and then the audience size. You can see your total audience size includes all users who have seen or engaged with your pins in the last 30 days. This tool is really helpful if you are wanting to, one, plan content, or if you're wanting to start running Pinterest ads. This tool will help you out with both of those things. So whatever camp you fall in, this will be really good. Now, the reason why I love this tool so much is because it gives you a great starting point for understanding the kind of base topics that your audience is currently searching for. Or if I mentioned, if you're brand new to Pinterest, what you can do is you can come over here to all Pinterest users and you can filter this by specific categories to see, okay, which of these categories is most applicable to your niche. And you can start targeting those and drilling down into them even more. We're going to start over here and I'm going to show you an example of how I use this. And then we'll come over to the all Pinterest users and then the compare here in just a minute. But let's actually start here with the total audience. So with this first little drop down, you can see I have my total audience. What you can do is you can either filter this by your total audience or your engaged audience. So you can see this is going to drop the size pretty dramatically. So those are people who, your audience includes users who have engaged with any of your pins the last 30 days, not just people who have seen them. So they've actually either like liked, comment, or shared with a specific pin on Pinterest. And once you filter this out, you can see in this bottom row, you're going to see the categories and interest. This is the most popular categories related to the interest of this specific audience. You can see if I change this, it's going to change the category down here, but we're going to stick on my specific audience here so I can show you how I use this for content planning for my current audience. So we have my engaged audience. So this is like kind of the top audience that I want to target. And when you first get in here, I don't know why, but it always filters this by the affinity score. And you can see the affinity indicates how much this audience is interested in a particular topic compared to the corresponding topics Pinterest wide. I personally don't find the affinity to be that helpful because a lot of times I find that it gives me categories that aren't super related to my niche. For those of you who aren't familiar, this account is a DIY home project. So I do a lot of like home improvement projects and things like that. So if I started posting about finance, I don't think it would resonate super well with this audience. So you can see it's a small makeup of this audience that's interested in finance. So instead of filtering by affinity, I like to filter this by percentage of audience. And you can see here, this gives me a more accurate representation of what my audience, majority of my audience may be interested in. Now, a lot of people don't realize with this is a little tip for you. Once you are inside of here, you can actually drill down into these into more subcategories. So for instance, for this home decor, you can click inside of here and this gives you even more subcategories. Because to be honest with you, this categories is like kind of helpful, but it's pretty generic information that you would probably assume based off the data. But where I really find value is in these subcategories right here. And this starts to give me an idea on content that I should really start making, or start to see if I can find trends for that specific topic. So you can see here for home decor interest, I have things like room decor, home decor styles, walls, furniture, home accessories, home maintenance, storage, and organization. And you can see it gives you a category of the audience and then the affinity score here. What I personally like to do is I like to take this first interest right here, room decor, for example. I will come over to the trends tool, and I will just come over and I will type in that specific keyword, and I will look to see which of these categories are currently trending inside of room decor, because I know clearly my current audience is really interested in that category. So now can I take that category and find a trend for it and then go and create content? So I'll do that, and I'll grab this right here. And then from here, I will put this into I'll make notes of all these, and you can see there's some really good ones here, like room decor ideas, room decor DIY. If I click in here, I can see this is starting to trend up. And then down below, this gives me even more trends here. So that's one of the main use cases that I use this for, is to just find like kind of seed keywords, if you will, that I wanted to go after. And I'll just basically have two tabs open, one where I have the audience insights and then one where I have the trends tool. And I'll just go back and forth between the two of these just like this, and then copy that in, and then look at the different things that pop up right there. So obviously with this, you can continue to go through all these as well. You could go down to design and you can click into all of them, and then arts. Typically, I like to start with the first category and go through all of them. You can see this is a big percentage of my audience. Once it starts to get below 50% of my audience, I start to care a little bit less, and I find it less of a priority. Usually 70% or more of my audience that's interested in it, I will try to go after those topics and find those different things. Now, on top of the categories and interests, you can also scroll down here, and I find that this is really helpful as well, because this gives you an idea on the age and demographic, or the age and gender of your audience. So you can see right now the age for most of my audience is around 25 to 44. If I go and look at this for all Pinterest users, it's actually a little bit different, right? You can see that a big jump in 18 to 24 and 34, but there's less for my specific audience. You see female is a lot higher here, but when I go over to my engaged audience, you see female is still high, and then male, it's like kind of similar to all Pinterest. And then down here, you can also see the top metros for your area. So I find this is really helpful if you are in the travel niche, or, depending on your niche, this can be really helpful for creating different pins based on specific travel areas, right? Or top countries. You see most of mine is in the United States. And then here you also have the device breakdown as well, which honestly, I haven't found a really super useful use case for devices, but location and gender and the age do kind of help plan the content. But the most value I get out of this tool is in the categories and interest tab right here. Now, if you are brand new to Pinterest and you don't already have an established audience, how I would use this is coming over here to the all Pinterest user, and I would find the category that most fits what I'm doing, looking for. Say I wanted to create art, I can click inside of here, and then I would start using these as the same thing. I would come over here to drawing, for example. I would grab this and I would come over to the trends tool and type that in. You can also click this and it will open up a new tab for you that has just like a search for that specific thing inside of Pinterest. So that's one other thing that you can do. And then the last thing that is helpful for this is you can actually compare your audience to all Pinterest users. So if I come over here to compare and I look at my audience compared to Pinterest total audience, and I filter this out, you can see that as far as home decor goes, it makes sense that 94% of my audience is interested in home decor, where on Pinterest, only 84% is interested in that specific topic. And you can kind of compare the two just looking at them side by side to see if you have any outliers and where it makes sense to maybe double down on specific content. And one last little tip I will give here is you can also export this data into a CSV in case you are an Excel nerd or a Google Sheets nerd. You could export that and kind of play with the data a little bit there. And then if you wanted to create a campaign or run ads for this specific audience, you could click in here and it will drop you into the campaign manager where you could start running ads inside of Pinterest for this specific audience. So as you can see, as part of this tutorial, a big part of how I use the Audience Insights tool is partnered with the Pinterest Trends tool. So if you wanted a more in-depth tutorial on the Pinterest Trends tool, I would recommend checking out this video right here. That is one that you will not want to miss. It's great on how I identify trends and get early on those trends and get essentially more traffic from Pinterest. So be sure to check that one out, and we'll see you in the next video.